Hello and welcome to a look back at the most successful season ever for the Fox team from Denmark. Began at Ahoy in Rotterdam, the European mecca for indoor tractor pulling. 2 sessions with 7,000 spectators at each. And it was here that the team's new sponsors, Lego, were introduced. Right, it's time to get on with the action, and we begin with the pull-off final for the 3.5-ton modifieds, where Fox Junior was the 5th fastest qualifier. The track at Ahoy is just 60 meters long. This year, the team leader Team Larsen will not be limiting his activities to just track mechanic, he'll also be driving Fox. But earlier in this event, he went out of bounds, so he has plenty of time to look after Kjell Andersen in this class. They've also got smart new driving suits, making them perhaps the most professional team on the European circuit. They use just 4 Chevys for this class, and Kjell letting them loose. Looking really good, and well past Desperate Dan's marker to take the lead. And it could well be a second full pull. Over 4 meters ahead of the Brit, and yes, a second full pull to Fox Junior. Now it's the turn of Q18 Popeye. And a brave attempt from Johnny Van Alphen, but over 3 meters short. 57.64 and second place for Popeye. Just 1 more to run. Green Monster from Germany also using 2 Allisons, but this time they're stepped rather than side by side. Driven by Daniel Frischer. And no threat to Fox Junior, but it was good enough to relegate Popeye to 3rd place. So there's the result. Fox Junior, the only one with a double full pull. So for the first time in the year 2000, Kjell climbed to the top of the victory roster, flanked by Daniel Frischer and Johnny Van Alphen. Now here's the winner once again. Now we move on to the evening session, and this time both Fox and Fox Junior made the pull-off in the heavier 4.5-ton modified class. The second time behind the driving seat for Team Larsen, but the blower belt on the rear right Chevy broke, and that was a really big handicap. There you can see the offending belt. There you go, souvenir from Ahoy. 43.55 was the distance for Fox. On with Q18 Popeye, this time with Jan Van Alphen. 3 Allison stacked in front of him. And it was no problem for the Dutchman to take the lead, much to the delight of their fans. 48.28 the score for Popeye. 2 more to pull. This is Desperate Dan with Brian Armistead. Looked very impressive in his qualifying run. Could he repeat it again? All sparks flying as he passed Popeye, and that was the new leader. His distance 51 meters exactly. So then it was down to Fox Junior and Kjell Andersen. Sliding to his left, but holding it in. Now was he ahead of Desperate Dan? No, he wasn't. And there's the final result. So a 1st and 2nd spot for the Fox team at Ahoy. The scene changes to Herning in Denmark, where we spoke to Torben.
I think I made 10-12 runs until now, but it feels better now than the first time. So we used to say that you have to sit in a seat close to half a season before you really feel you're good there. But I need to be a little bit careful here and see what I can do.
Yes, and we were all interested to see what he would do at the first round of the Euro Cup at Herning. 7 rounds this year, the final being at Betborn in Luxembourg, which is where they won their first Euro Cup in 1993. So they're looking forward to their return visit. And if they win the Euro Cup, that will be the icing on the cake. So Torben, about ready for the pull-off. It's a very heavy track, so they wait until about 20 meters before giving really full gas. And he easily passed the mark set by Bull Power and added about 5 meters. 75.46 was the distance the others had to beat. Now from Holland, this was Green Spirit 4. Really putting down the power and keeping it straight. And he cruised past Fox and went right to the top of the leaderboard. Peter Direct scoring 84.34 for Green Spirit. Then it was the European champion Starlight Express. 3 Allison V12s. And they powered him past Green Spirit. And the lead changed hands yet again. Jim Snell adding about 4 meters to the Dutchman's mark. 88.19 for Starlight Express. And then the last to pull, Fox Jr. An important pull because he didn't qualify for the Euro Cup last season, but if he does well, he'll be invited to all the events with travelling expenses paid. A lot riding on this pull, and Kell gave it all he got. And was it enough? He needed 88.2 to grab the lead, and he did it. 88.35 for Fox Jr., and Kell was delighted.
A hell of a run. I'm still not getting down on the ground because I didn't expect anything, because I made a run in the first run on 4 motors only, and well, I nearly didn't make it. And this one I thought it's now or never, because I want to be in the Euro Cup for the rest of the season, so here I am.
And you had to make a correction halfway down the track.
Yeah, I had, and I was a bit scared because I thought, well, is hell going to break loose now? But I had to do something, and the tractor really hooked up very well, and well, that's the result.
And here is the result. Just 16 centimeters between the first and second, with Fox coming in 5th. And that's what the points table looked like. A long, hard season ahead of them, but a good start for the Fox team. So Kell was again on top of the winner's podium, and he was beginning to like the experience. Well, it's time now to look back at the 3.5-ton modified class. Not part of the Euro Cup, but equally as interesting. Due to it being late in the day, there was just a single qualifying run. Junior going well, oh, but then swerving out of bounds and failing to make a full pull. And Torben for once stuck for words. Here it is again, but things happen very quickly in tractor pulling, and Kell had a word for it. That is, if you can lip read. Thank you, Kell. Let's hear what he had to say about the run after the event.
It was totally a driver's mistake. I was over-braking the tractor, and suddenly one wheel was nearly standing still, I think, and the other one is spinning much, much too fast. And then I had a wrong direction, and I went off the throttle. I hope I saved it, but I didn't. I went off the white line.
Then it was the apprentice driver Torben who had to try and make sure of a Fox presence in the final. Only a full pull was good enough. And that is what Torben delivered. So a full pull to Fox, but Junior had to sit out the final, which consisted of 6 tractors, 3 from Denmark, 2 from Germany, and 1 from Holland. Daniel Frischer was the first to try his luck with Green Monster. And the German from Fugtorp made it to around the 90-meter mark. 89.10 was the target to beat. Black Power from Denmark was the next to flex his muscles. Paul Jensen opening up his 5 Chevys, and he made it to a tractor length away from the monster. 82.32 was his distance. And then it was Torben's turn. Could he finally get onto the winner's podium? Oh, a little out of shape in the middle. And it was not good enough to win, but 78.95 was enough to take 3rd place. Well, now we move on to round 2. It was Bernay in France, one of the few events where pulling at night has become something of a tradition. And the first to try and qualify for the final was Fox and Torben Larsen, getting the green flag there from Willem Tamming. And he was happy with that one. Almost got carried away and ended up on the stage at the end. Full pull to Fox, and Torben said to Kel, well, if I can do it, so can you do the same with Junior. And he did. So both Danes made it to the final, where they were joined by 8 others. A really powerful pull-off lineup, where the Fox was the first to go. High in the air, and he drifted to his left, so he had to shut down to make a score. Better to score than be counted out and lose any chance for any points. 78.23 for Fox. Now from Great Britain, Jim Snell and Starlight Express. His 3 Allison V12s. When they're on song, they're a match for anyone. And he was close, but not close enough. The exhaust stacks glowing red in the dark and burning off the surplus methanol. 76.16 for Jim Snell and Starlight Express, who moved into 2nd place. Then it was the turn of Fox Jr. Now, could he make it a 1-2 for the Danes? He moved over and found plenty of grip on the right side of the track. And he did it, despite the blowout braking on the front right engine. So another great win for Junior. His distance, 81.05. Nearly 3 meters better than Fox, with Starlight in 3rd. And the points table. Fox Junior still unbeaten, with Fox now up to 3rd place overall. So for the first time this season in the Euro Cup, both Kel and Torben on the winner's podium. Let's see the winning run again. The next day, we caught up with team leader Torben Larsen.
We was very, very satisfied. It's we have been in the Euro Cup tour since '93. The first 2 years we won, and all the other years we have been in the top 3. Our goal for this year is to be in the top 4 with 2 tractors. Last year we ended up number 2 and number 6 in the complete. Yesterday we was the red tractor here, it's Fox Junior, ended up number 1, and the other tractor we have is Fox, and it ended up number 2. So we was very, very satisfied with that.
On to round 3 at Grimmen, where the first event was an international 3.5-ton modified challenge. Torben was the first to try and qualify. And surprise, surprise, he failed to make it. 89.78 was his distance, and he was glad he had a second chance a little later. Then it was Kel Anderson of Fox Jr. Not completely convincing, but it was still a full pull. So Fox Jr. into the final. And that is reportedly the longest Trabant in the world. And it's owned by the local fire department. Then it was the second and last chance for Fox to make the final. And another trouble run from the team boss. And he failed to qualify. His distance, 93.83. But however, there were three in the final, and one of those was Fox Jr. And he was the first out onto the track at Grimmen. Most of the teams using this event to get the right settings for the later Euro Cup event. Junior well away, and Kel keeping a nice straight line. And he made nearly 100. Just under 2 meters short for Fox Jr. And Torben was happy with that. And so was Kel, acknowledging the applause from the crowd. Now it was the turn of the Flying Dutchman, Johnny van Alphen. Q8 Team Popeye. Were his two Allisons a match for the four Chevys on Junior? No, they weren't. His distance 87.21 for Popeye. And the last to pull was Cougar and Fredrik Andersen. Past Popeye, but Cougar just failing to beat Fox by 18 centimeters. Boy, that was a close one. There's the official result, and once again, Kel ending up on the top spot, but nice to see Cougar also doing so well. Presentation time again, and the Fox team will soon need more shelves for all the cups. Here's the winning run again. Now we move on to the Euro Cup, and this is what the scoreboard looked like going into the event. Full house for Fox Jr., and every chance for Fox to move into second place, as Starlight Express was not on the starting sheet. Didn't qualify in the 3.5 ton. Can he do better now? Got an extra Chevy. And he seemed to move up a gear. A perfect pull for Fox. And the fans were loving it. So Fox could and did. What about Fox Jr.? Could he make it a Danish duo in the final? Oh no, not with that run he couldn't. Out of bounds after just 70 meters. And he'll be glad he's got a second chance later.
So Torben, you made a good pull, but it looks like Kel had a bit of problem there.
Yeah, I told him right after my run there that I should really use the brakes a lot to get the track in. And it was not reacting too much on what I was braking. So I was going from side to side, and it was a little bit too much for him. He needs to get. We hope that if he leaves the hole a little bit easier next time, I hope that he can get a straight line. We hope on a good result for that tractor as well, because he's in the point now, and it wouldn't hurt so much to keep him there.
People who are watching at home on television, they think, oh, all you're going to do is sit behind the wheel and push the accelerator on, but that's not the case, is it?
Not at all, especially when you hit a bad track where you easily can spin your wheels, go off the track, stuff like what we are doing here today. It really means a difference if you are experienced driver or not.
Explain what you mean about spinning wheels.
In the 3.5, I was opening too much for the throttle on Fox. We turned the wheels close to 160. That means that we can overspin the track. So we're just kind of running on ice, and we don't go nowhere. We need to hook the tractor up, no matter if it's slippery or not. It's necessary to hook up, otherwise you don't compete the other guys.
So would it be second time lucky for Fox Jr.? Bit of an iffy start, but now he's moving. Yes, full pull to Fox Jr. And that meant there were 5 in the pull-off. 2 from Denmark, 2 from Germany, and 1 from Holland. Ivan from Germany has not been registered for the Eurocup, so even if Martin Orkras wins, he'll not take points away from the others in the Eurocup. Torben hoping to do well today and to move up to second place in the points table, but many things can go wrong. The Fox team used to have 5 Larsen brothers who shared the ownership, and now it's just Torben, so he pays the bills and he gets the credit when things go right, as they have done so far this season. Looks like he's just about ready now. Veering a little to his right. Seemed to shut down there, but then gave an extra blast. Not an ideal run. 79.11 the distance, but it'll give the others something to think about. Now from Germany, this is Ivan with Martin Orkras. 3 Isotop turbines. He's on home ground and he's going well. And he glides past Fox to take the lead. 85.51 his distance. And this is the second German tractor, Challenger with Enrico Volaton. 3 Allison V12s. But unable to beat Ivan. However, into second place in front of Fox with a distance of 82.90. And now for Fox Jr. to take maximum points in the Eurocup, that's the figure he has to beat. Of course, he'd like to beat Ivan as well, but the most important thing is to secure his Eurocup points. Brake correcting to keep it on track. And unable to beat Ivan. But he was 27 centimeters ahead of Challenger, so that was another maximum points in the bag. But really competitive between second and fourth. And it was looking good in the points table. Junior on a max and Fox up to share second place with Challenger. So it was another good event for the Danish team in what was turning into a great season. And we move on to round 4 at Hörby in Sweden. Welcomed by the Terracom Components Town Band, who were there to greet everyone who came in. But there'd been an awful lot of rain in the week leading up to the event, so they had to do a lot of work on the track, as Peter de Witt explained.
We had between the 30 and 45 meters, we had a hole and there was a lot of water in it. So you have to take it out, put some chalk in it and try to make it a little bit better. And normally you have to do it the day before, but I heard that yesterday it was raining the whole day, the whole night, and it stops this morning at 8 o'clock, so there was no other possibility to make the track.
Well, they rotivated the track, and by the time the 4.5 modifieds came to centre stage, it wasn't quite so bad. There was a good crowd who saw 6 tractors make full pulls, and of course the Danish duo was amongst them. There were 3 from Holland and 1 from Sweden. This was Ib Koopmanschie, Abe Zitzling behind his double griffin combination, and he passed the mark set by Green Spirit to take the lead. His distance, 88.12. Then it was the turn of Fox to flex his muscles. At the end of qualifying, it was late in the day, so the pull-off was on Sunday. And that had given the track even more chance to dry out. He took Koopmanschie by just over a metre. 89.57 was Torben's distance. Then it was Fox Jr.'s chance to see if he could remain unbeaten. Could he make it 4 wins on the trot? But running into trouble, drifting to his left and then shutting down to realise the score. But teams able to discard their worst run out of 7 events, so it was no real catastrophe.
Torben, you're in the lead, but you don't look too happy.
I don't know what went wrong with Junior. It had a strange sound, like we had an ignition problem or something, because it cut off a few times. I don't know what went wrong, but he definitely had problems staying on the track. It would go to the left for him very bad, but I don't know what went wrong with the ignition. It sounds a little bit strange to me, and I could see all 5 motors were still running, so maybe it was a wire problem somewhere.
Junior's bad fortune gave a chance for Q18 Popeye to pick up some useful points, as Challenger had damaged an engine and hadn't come from Germany. Not able to beat Fox, but into second place. The score 88.19. So Fox continued the celebrations in the Danish camp after a very closely fought pull-off. And in the points table, the Danes were now able to look down on the rest of them. So for Torben, it was his first Eurocup win, and he enjoyed the experience. Here's his winning run again. Now from Sweden to Holland, where they'd also suffered from rain, the name had changed as well. It was no longer Wallaby Flavoo, but now Six Flags, the name of the American concern who'd taken over the amusement park attached. In the 4.5-ton modifieds, there were 11 full pulls, with Fox setting the fastest time. And it was Fox who was on the track first. By the time it came to the pull, the weather had improved and there was a really good crowd. And Fox took over the lead with a really excellent run. The distance was 90.45 metres. In their qualifying run, Challenger had broken their front left wheel, so they've been busy welding it back on again. Tobias Horskamp acting as track mechanic for Enrico Volaton. this was going to be close. Had the German done it? Yes, by 2 centimeters. No wonder he looked happy.
Torben beat him by 2 centimeters and you had a broken blower valve.
Yeah, that's bad luck. But I don't know what went wrong. We broke a blower valve and right on the line we jumped out of gear. My gear shifter is banded, so maybe I got a little problem in the gearbox. I think the gears in the gearbox are kind of pushing it out of gear. It's my second time this year that it jumped out of gear for me. But if I was the one that was going off the throttle and I lost with 2 centimeters, it was bad. I could blame myself, but in this case it jumped out of gear and I couldn't do more.
Finally, it was the turn of Fox Jr. Would he be beaten by Challenger, or could he keep the Fox bandwagon still rolling? And Kell really did the business. No messing. A clear and worthy winner. 98.83 the distance. So 5 rounds of the Euro Cup, and the Fox team had won every round. 4 to Junior and 1 to Fox. And in the points table, the Danes were leaving everyone in their wake.
Daarom heet het ook een Fox, want die zijn sneaky. Het was de sneaky Fox.
So Enrico, Kell and Torben on the winners podium.
Hij kan er geen blauwe belt voor kopen weer. Maar vooruit, dat doet er niet toe.
I was surprised, very surprised myself, because I was struggling a bit with it. It was going to one of the sides, so I had to brake on it. And you just keep on going and going and going, so I could see, well, it looks good now.
Yeah, well, you got your revenge on Torben.
Yeah, well, last Euro Cup, he was #1, so now it's my turn.
It's looking pretty good for the Fox team in the Euro Cup now.
Yeah, actually, we are surprised. We only did few changes last winter, but it seems like what we changed pay out, and it's nice to have two tractors, 2 cars on your hand, because if Fox win, I win, and if Kell win, I win too. I got the 2 tractors, so it's beautiful.
Was one of those changes from methanol to rocket fuel?
No way, not yet. We'll be back to that later, maybe.
Here's the winning one yet again. And now we turn our attention to round 6, which was in southern Alsace. This is the beautiful town of Colmar. But we're here for tractor pulling, and they certainly know how to entertain large crowds. These girls come all the way from Marseille. This is another of the nighttime venues, which adds to the drama of the occasion. This is the French sledge, easing back into position for an international 3.5-ton modified event, where there were 6 full pulls and both the Danes were there. And the first we're going to see is Fox. One of the advantages of taking part in an earlier competition is the fact that you get to see what the track is like and what type of setup is best for it. On the downside, you always risk damaging the tractor. The track very dusty. But a good run from Torben with Fox. .86.32 the distance. Next to pull, the new Simply Irresistible, driven here by Albert van der Waal. Oh, and that must be close. 86.46 to take the lead by 14 centimeters. Well, simply held on to the lead, and then it was the last to go, Fox Jr. The team are on the road for virtually every weekend during the summer. Sometimes they're at one event on Saturday, and then they drive halfway across Europe to get to another event on Sunday. And they always give 100%. That's why they're known as the most professional team in Europe. On their travels, they sell 3,000 or 4,000 t-shirts. They have a new design for each year. So Kell needs 84.47 to win. But on this occasion, it was simply Irresistible who came out on top. .82.29 the distance for Fox Jr., which meant third place overall. Second was Fox, with the Dutchman first. So Kell and Torben, they had a date with the girls from Marseille. They always help with the presentation ceremonies. Makes it worthwhile winning. And then it was on to day two, where once again it was warm and sunny. Fox Jr. anxious to get back to winning ways. But first there was the qualification to the pull-off final. Kell sliding over to his right. Oh, goodness me, clipping the line as he went over. Now, if he crossed the line after 100 meters, then the full pull stands. Otherwise, he was out of bounds. Discussing the very point, looks like they all agree he was over. Yes, full pull to Fox Jr. And he joined 8 others in the final. 3 from Germany and Holland, 2 from Denmark, and 1 from France.
Well, this tractor here, Fox, is on the second place right now, and there'll be 4 different tractors to watch for today. We hope that we can keep this tractor here on in the top, let's say 3, 4 here the last 2 events we got, because that means that we can stay on the second place. But we have to watch for some of the other guys, and I hope that we are able to be in hopefully top 3 today with this tractor.
Well, we'll soon get to find out. That's Torben behind his 5 trusty Chevys. And he beat the mark set by Ivan, and he was into the 70s with that run. So Fox was in the lead with the score of 74.18 meters. This year there are 7 rounds in the Eurocup. The last round will be at Betborn in Luxembourg, which hasn't been on the Eurocup circuit for many years. Now, what could Challenger from Germany do? A very dusty track now, perhaps not to the liking of the German. And he couldn't do it. Fox remained in the lead, but only just. 73.28, so Challenger less than a metre away. Now this was the second of the German turbines, Keep and Curl with Paul Heistermann, the reigning 5.4-ton champion. And he pulled out all the stops and edged ahead of Fox with that run. But again, he wasn't registered for the Eurocup, so he wouldn't take points away from those teams who were. And so, the final one to pull was Fox Jr. And a good pull here, and he could make sure he was the new Eurocup champion. Not good enough to beat Keep and Curl, and in fact he was only good enough for 4th place with 70.86. But with a 1st and a 3rd place in the Eurocup points table, the Fox team had made sure of taking 1st and 2nd place in the competition before the final round. which was in the delightful setting of the small village of Betborn, about 100 kilometers from the town of Luxembourg. The track nestling at the bottom of a fold in the hills, and it certainly attracted a lot of people. And we start with Fox's second qualifying run. He's sure of a second place in the competition, but he had a problem with his first run. And in fact, it was quite a wild run. Let's go back and see what happened. Veering to his left, clipping the chalk line, and then heading off to the right. So he was disqualified, and that's what it looked like back at the start. So he'll be hoping for better luck this time around. And this time he got it right. Brake correcting and making it to the 100 meters before going out of bounds. That was really close. But it was a full pull and Torben could breathe a sigh of relief. Not only on the track did he have steering problems, wrestling with the wheel to try and get the tractor on a straight line back to the pit area. So an eventful day so far. Let's hear what he had to say for himself when he got back to the pits.
Torben, you seem to make a habit out of driving crazily.
I don't know how this look here today, but I think we got a little problem in the rear end with the diff here, and it have to stay in one more run now. So we have to make it. We'll put a little bit more weight in the front here in the next run, and try to keep the nose a little bit down, and see if we can get through, because this year look a little bit too crazy.
But you're only pulling with 4 engines. Why is that?
Oh, we already before this event we put 100 runs on our motors this season here, and 100 runs is just too much. We have I have a 540 cubic inch Oldsmobile here, and I got a little hole in the block, probably a rod we lost or something, but it have to stay there until one more run, and then we rebuild everything. But 100 runs on the motors is a little bit too much.
Well, there's the list of full pulls. 6 coming out to pull. Cougar broke whilst making it to the final. Here's Q18 Popeye with Jan van Alphen. Not had the sort of season we're used to seeing from the Dutchman. But into the middle 80s with that run. 86.27 from Popeye. Then it was the turn of Challenger. And a good run, and he could make sure of 3rd place in the Eurocup. Really motoring. Oh, no problem for the Dutchman. And he nearly made a 2nd full pull. Great run that from Challenger. 106.56 for the German. Green Spirit are planning changes for their tractor at the end of the season, which includes a new fuel system. Right, 2 Griffins and 107 metres ahead of them if they're to win. Well, close to 100, so in 2nd place at the moment. Right, now let's talk to Kel.
My smallest motor is a 426/27, and that's not more than I have in my own car back home. So I'm very glad that I'm comfortable in points.
But Betborn is a bit special for the Fox team, isn't it? Because here you won the very first Eurocup in '93.
Yeah, that's right. I was just a kid then. I was with the team here, and I was watching and helping around. So it's a bit special to be here and drive today. Yeah, it is.
So the final run of Fox Junior this season in the Eurocup. 4 first places to his credit out of 7 events, and that in itself is a fine achievement. And it doesn't matter what happens, he's sure of taking the title. Oh, drifting to his right and shutting down before clipping the line. 72 meters for Fox Jr. And then it was Fox who was the last to pull. And after qualifying as he did, well, anything could happen. Steering problems again. I think he was a woman driver. Clipping the chalk at the end as he went out of bounds. Let's see what it looked like from behind. And Kell was not too impressed. But the Fox video man had some good pictures to look back on. So, the result of the final round of the Euro Cup, and it was Challenger from Green Spirit and Popeye. So no member of the Fox team on the podium for the first time during the season. However, they were first and second where it mattered in the final Euro Cup result. Torben, Kell and Enrico Volaton took the honours after a hard season. Euro Cup champion, the year 2000. So here we are, the end of the road, the last event of the season, but on their own doorstep, so to speak, in Herne, the venue of the European Championships for the second time. Tractor pulling fans from just about every country in Northern Europe and Scandinavia are here, and they're in really good humour, especially the Dutch fans. While the first event for the Fox team was the 3.5-ton modifieds, where just Fox was taking part, but a really strong field of competitors. So first and second in the Euro Cup, but in the 15 or so years that the Fox team have been pulling, they've never won a European Championship. And that's something that Torben would like to put right at this weekend in Herne. Sledgeman is ready. And Fox waiting for the green flag from Willem Tamming. And it was not a good run. Drifting to his left, having to brake correct, and ending up behind the 90-meter mark. So not much to cheer about there. Now if we see it again, much too far to his left, and the brake correcting lost him his forward momentum. But Torben always in good humour. Then it was time for his final qualifying attempt. And this time, despite it being a bit bumpy, he made no mistake and put it out the end. And of course this time the fans had something to cheer about. Here it is again from on board the sledge. And Fox joined 10 others in the final, so he was happy as he made his way back to the pits. First man in the pull-off was Desperate Dan from Great Britain, reigning champion who was looking to take the title back yet again to Blackpool in the north of England. Good run into the middle 80s. Let's see it again from the sledge. A distance there of 87.54 the Brit. Then it was Challenger from Germany with Heinz-Josef Horstkamp. half a tractor short for Challenger. 83.07 his distance. This was the sister machine Green Monster. A really excellent run, just breaking 80 meters and into third place, 80.73 for Monster. Now, could Fox achieve his ambition of winning a European title? 87.54 was what he had to beat. And despite the crowd willing him on, he could only manage 79.65, which was fourth place overall. So Desperate Dan continued his winning streak, and the Challenger team, well, they were very happy with second and third. On to day two, where there was plenty of activity in the paddock and camping area after a hard night at the pulling party.
Kører først og anden gennemløb med. Men deres fansene gik kippen kærlig klapsalve.
Now it was time for the heavier 4.5 ton class. Well, they won the Euro Cup, but the Europeans is always a little bit special. Could the Fox team do the double? Well, we'll soon find out. 14 very strong challengers. Here's Fox and Team Larsen's qualifying run. Well, if Torben was nervous, he didn't show it. A really powerful pull, never a doubt that he'd make the pull-off. And the Danish fans had something to celebrate. Then the pressure was on Kel, Euro Cup holder. He was expected to make qualifying a formality, but then things didn't quite work out like that. Well, he just broke the 90-meter mark, and it wasn't looking good. 92.54.
When we should warm up Junior here, suddenly I discovered that one of the front pulleys on the crank was running a little bit like this. And we checked, and it seems like we have a problem on the crank. Maybe we are very, very near to break the crank or something, but that pulley is going a little bit up and down, so it's a big risk to run the motor now.
But they took that risk. Here's Fox Junior's second run. And this time Kel did it. Just over for a full pull. Kept the fans happy. But that was the last they saw of Junior in the competition. It was broken and couldn't come out for the final. However, there were 10 others who did. Thunderbird also breaking when qualifying. This was Starlight Express from Great Britain. Jim Snell, the reigning champion. Well, he was reigning champion at least for a few moments longer. And Starlight made it to 75.71 meters. And then it was time for Fox to make his bid for the elusive title. High in the air, and it looked like he'd edged past the Brit. The fans waited expectantly. 76.63, Fox was the new leader. And this time, Torben was a little tense. Green Spirit was the last to pull from Holland. A double Griffin with every possibility of winning. A good attempt, but not good enough. Second place for the Dutchman, so Torben got his European title.
Torben, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Finally, you got your EC.
How long have you been trying now?
I don't know. We have been in the tractor pulling for 15 years, and that's the first time now, so...
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And there's the result Torben wanted to see. The top 5, all within just over 1 metre. Really competitive pulling. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, until now. Torben Larsen and Fox, European champions. So the end of a fantastic season for the Danes, first and second in the Euro Cup, and the European 4.5 tonne modified champion.